Proceed, sir.
Thank you, fathers and brothers. Teaching Elder Steve Tipton, Gulf Coast Presbytery. I rise in support of this overture and to urge you to support this effort to amend our BCO. You may be wondering, given all the measures both approved and defeated to address this issue, why you should vote in favor of this overture. In a word, because, my brothers, it is sufficient. Now, that may sound like a somewhat lackluster and unenthusiastic endorsement, but I assure you it is not. If my wife were here, she would say, this is my enthusiastic face. First of all, it is sufficient because it is biblical. This overture does not require of elders anything the Bible does not require of every believer. But this overture does require of elders what the Bible requires of elders, that they be examples of Christian character, humbly and confidently submitting themselves to the will of their Lord, our Lord, in all things. But second, this overture is sufficient because it clearly addresses, and I believe fully addresses, the heart of the controversy that has been before us. Let none of us say that we, either individually or jointly, are immune from the dangers that are present in our age of rampant confusion about and willful disobedience to God's intended desire for human sexuality. And whether you believe these dangers are merely potential and future or are actual and present, either way, this overture is sufficient to clarify our Constitution such that there is no confusion as to our expectation for elders. And therefore, let me appeal to you, brothers, if you are tired of this controversy and you wish to see an end to the debate, the doubt, and the division, vote for this overture because it is sufficient. Let this be our answer to the controversy. Let this overture be sufficient. Let us go back to our churches and before our presbyteries and champion this overture without reservations and without second-guessing ourselves or the motives of others. And then, fathers and brothers, let us lay to rest what seems to be an endless parade of efforts to place one more paragraph, one more sentence, one more phrase into our BCO that we hope will be able to do what this overture is fully sufficient to do. But let me also remind us, brothers, that there is no overture, there is no provision in the book of church order that will ever be sufficient to address whatever confusion or disobedience may be in our own heart, or in our people, or in our communities. Indeed, brothers, we are not sufficient for these things. But this overture reminds us of the character of the men God has determined to work through, to bear his treasures in jars of clay, to show that the surpassing power and sufficiency belongs to God and not to us, to proclaim liberty to those who are held captive by sexual disobedience and sight to those blinded by...
Sir, your time has expired.